Yeah, he's got to be like, we don't need that. And then instantly I'm like, fucking ring it up.
Nobody tells me no.
God damn!
Why am I the way that I am? You know?
You just got to play the game, you know? You guys have a whole system worked out.
Whole system.
Yeah.
Every couple does.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a good system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do the no. I'm the no in the family. Like, I don't know. Should we do that? This is probably a really bad idea. And Brandon's like, well, do we want it? And I'm like, I don't know. Can we afford it? And he's like, we can afford anything. I feel like that's your credit cards talking.
I feel like that's not an accurate statement. I don't know why, but I get the feeling that you're kind of fibbing.
Something tells me. But you handle that side, so cool, let's get it.
Oh, what a beautiful world of bliss.
I know, it is. Ignorance is bliss, guys.
Seriously.
Don't let anyone tell you different.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to know. Knowing sucks.
Probably like in bankruptcy by now.
Same. Same.
It's fine. We'll get through it. We'll get through it.
So on that note, do you want to give me your goddamn?
Sure. So I was driving in your lovely neighborhood behind a regular ass truck for your neighborhood, which means it's a giant ass fucking truck.
Mud grip tires?
Yep, probably. This motherfucker flicked a rock up. A big enough rock to where I like flinched, like, oh
No.
shit, that bitch is gonna hit me in the face.
He didn't have mud flaps?
He didn't have any mud flaps
This
on.
motherfucker.
It cracked my windshield.
No, on the Jeepity Jeep Jeep?
Yeah.
No.
It went tink and it fucking like spiderwebbed, like real quick, like tink.
No. Yeah.
And then it like and shot up and across my vision and stuff. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And some other shit had just happened in my life that you know about.
Oh, okay, yeah. Personal shit was going down.
Personal shit was going down.
So, of course, a rock flung up and hit your goddamn windshield.
And so just fucking everything was happening. I was so stressed out. And I called Brandon. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I was yelling at this truck in front of me. I was like, I'm going to fucking follow him.
Yeah, get him.
I'm going to chuck a penny at him. Like,
Yeah, I like it.
fucking hate you, truck sir.
I like the rage.
But I didn't. I just got off because I was going to work. And I was like, I guess this is my fucking life now. And
Also,
I called...
the truck probably has no idea why you're yelling at them.
No, they have no idea. No idea. Also, I followed someone home today. That's a different story.
Okay, do we need to check in on you? Are you doing all right? Is
It's a
everything
little
okay?
ragey recently.
Yeah, what's going on? We
I
feeling
mean,
all right?
Yeah. Okay, so the end of that story is I got it fixed, right? Brandon was like, don't worry, babe. I set up an appointment. They're going to come to your work, blah, blah, blah. Like, everything's good. And I was like, thanks. This is why I married you. Appreciate you, blah. The other story that I followed someone home just happened today. And
Yeah.
I didn't really follow them home. It was just kind of coincidentally that I followed them home.
Questionable.
Going to my house, there's one stretch where the middle lane goes straight, the right lane turns right. There's a light, and everybody tries to like get past all the traffic going straight by going in the right lane and then not turning right, and they just fucking cut in the intersection.
Hate that.
Hate it so fucking much.
Heard it.
And this stupid little fucking Prius did that shit to me today. And so I was like, well, fuck you too then.
Call
So
the cops.
I was yelling at them aggressively with my windows down because I was like, it's a Prius, I'll be fine.
I can crush them with my monster Jeep.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. And then they turned up my street, and I was like,
Oopsie.
well, guess who's going up there? I'm like, you can't fucking beat me. This is a giant ass hill. I'm
Yeah.
like, you can't beat me up here.
Yeah.
It's a fucking Prius.
Yeah.
So I was like riding their ass up this hill, and I was like, I hope they know that I'm pissed at them,
Yeah.
which they have to know because they just did some shitty ass move back there.
Yeah, they're fully aware.
Yeah, so then
100% they're aware.
they're looking in their rearview mirror like, who the fuck is this? And I am yelling, hands and everything, like, fuck you in particular.
You cut me off. You need to follow the rules. You need to stay in your lane.
Yeah,
I'm
hate
over
you.
this shit.
Fucking pull over and let me pass you. And so we went all the way up the hill, and then we did like little turns
Oh
and
my
stuff.
God, this is like your fucking neighbor.
Literally, it's one of my neighbors. But now I know where they live, and I fucking hate them.
Oh
So-
my God, Erin. I think we do need to check in with you. Don't do anything to them. It's okay.
They're like 5 houses down.
Maybe they were having a bad day too.
Well, you know what? Fuck them and
Get
their
in
day.
line. Get in
Yeah,
line.
get in goddamn line.
I totally agree. I hate it when people do that shit, especially if I just sat in that fucking line forever and they do this shit every day. They live there, so they do that shit every day.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
is they fucking
Yeah.
live there.
Fuck that.
You know how this shit works.
Yeah.
Go the other way. Like,
Yeah.
fuck you. Fuck you. Also, it's not a fucking long line. Like, it's
Yeah.
not traffic. It's like 4 cars
Yeah,
and a
just
light.
chill.
Like, just
that light,
fucking
that
chill.
light turns red for fucking ever, though. There's like 8 lights before you can get through it. Not really. There's like 2. But I fucking hate that spot too.
Yeah.
And then everybody turns to get into like one of the driveways and it backs up and I'm like, move.
Yeah.
Everybody move.
Yeah.
There's just a lot happening
But
right
you
there.
could go so many different ways. Like she could have just chosen to go left
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
Where there's nobody going left and
Yeah.
you could go up that way.
Yeah.
Nope, she didn't. She decided to be a fucking asshole.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So,
She sounds like a terrible person.
Yeah. My goddamn is my road rage and my fucking Jeep windshield got
Okay, your
cracked.
road rage and your bad fucking luck, man.
I know.
Is your bad luck streak over?
I hope so, you know.
I hope so too.
Well, it comes in 3s, right?
Oh no.
Can't think of a third one.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully it's already happened and I just don't know it.
Maybe it's just that work is like so fucking busy right now.
Yeah, maybe it's that. Tell me about your goddamn.
Oh, I would love to. You're fully aware of it, but this weekend, while we were all hanging out, enjoying our lives, and getting our best mom day drunk that we possibly can off
Hell
of
yeah.
some Andre champagne and a splash of orange juice just for color.
Mm-hmm.
And we were having a nice little bonfire in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Having so much fun, and it got a little chilly because it's so cold here right now. And the fire was looking a little sad, so I was like, you know what? I got this. I'm just gonna go grab a log and toss a log on the fire.
Like a goddamn
Gentlemen,
woman who can do it yourself.
listen, when I'm drunk, I will light your cigarettes for you.
Mhm. You are a goddamn gentleman when you're drunk.
I will
Build me a fire.
stoke your fire. Is that what it's called?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll build you a fire. I'll do whatever. I'll hold your door.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
You need some
independent woman
flint
that I
on that bitch?
am. Do you remember that?
I do.
I had a flint flicker, and I was trying to catch everything on fire one time. It was actually really hard to catch on fire because everything was wet because of snow, which is for the better. But anyway, so this particular night, this weekend, I was like, oh, let me go just toss another log on the fire. And we have a retaining wall that has a hill, like is holding a hill up that is probably about like shoulder height, maybe.
It's like 4 feet. So, yes.
Okay. I was like, that sounds small.
Well, you're about 5 feet. So
I worked it out. I worked it out in my judgmental pause.
I just want people to know how tall it is versus
sure.
shoulder height. They're like, wow, is she 6'7"?
That's
a
tall
giant-ass
ass
wall.
That's why we work so well, you know? Okay. So anyway, we have a bunch of logs tossed up on this hill, and they're like real logs. Like somebody cut down a fucking tree. I think it was your husband, Brandon,
Yeah.
cut down a fucking tree. And so we have a bunch of logs up there. So I was like, oh, I'll just grab a nice sturdy sound log, not this cheap shit that you get at 7-Eleven for $5 a bundle that burns in like 2 seconds.
This shit's eucalyptus.
Exactly. We were getting our fucking aromatherapy on. Anyway, so I grabbed this log. I'm minding my own fucking business. My little son is with me, and he's like, Ma, I want to put the log in the fire. Can I help? Blah, blah, blah. Like, just imagine like a little chihuahua, and he's jumping around, blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, so I grabbed the log, and I had the thought of, man, this isn't a bunch of weeds and shit, because it was kind of hidden in there. And I was like, this is going to have fucking spiders all over it. And we have like brown recluses and shit, and black widows and whatever. So I grabbed it with my hand initially, and then I went to just 2-finger grab, like I did the thumb and the middle finger or something. Like, ew, what is this? A dirty sock?
A
Like,
giant ass log. And you're
I did
like,
that with a giant ass log.
I'm just going to pick it up with my Disney fingers.
I did my Disney fingers. I picked it up. I had a good hold on it though, okay?
Well,
And I slid it
mm-hmm.
to the edge of the retaining wall. And then I had a slight panic moment where I was like, there's for sure nothing but spiders all over this. Like, there was not. Everything was fine. It was fine. But my body freaked out, and I pulled the log off, and it was much heavier than I thought, so my Disney fingers couldn't hold it. So it started to swing like, whoa, 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 like out of control. And in the swinging of out of controlness and in my panic, the log fell directly on my foot,
yeah.
and I was in flip-flops, and it made the grossest, wettest thud
Ugh.
that I have ever heard or felt.
You did say, you know that sound when someone gets bludgeoned? It sounded like that.
Yeah. No, that's exact because that's what we talk about all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, beat her in the head with a hammer or whatever. I heard that sound and I was like, that's it. That's the sound that we always talk about. Or not the sound, but that's like the thing that we always talk about. It has
Yeah.
a sound. And I heard the sound. It was like wet. I don't know. I didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
Didn't like it. Instant fucking pain and pure panic and also white shock. Like, I can't feel everything, but I know it's going to suck. Just like when you stub your toe and you're just like mad. And then my little son is like, oh my God, Mom, like jumping around. I'm like, you need to get, because he was like blocking my way. And he was like, uh-oh, something's wrong with Mom. And then I just like walked out and like caught my breath because I was starting to feel a little nauseous because I heard like this weird wet sound and like for sure it's not good. There was blood. Like I'm missing a toe, aren't I? You know, I was doing that. And then my son is still like jumping around and I was like, you got to stop. And then you turned around to look at me and you're like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm dying. And you're like, what? And then you like got up like, oh shit, it's serious.
Because you had like your hands on your knees and you were like, head
not
was
to
kind of
faint.
going down. Yeah. And I was like, uh-oh, that doesn't look right.
I was actively trying not to faint.
That is a prime example of Stacy trying not to faint.
I've seen that before.
Oh, I recognize this. Lay down.
Anyway, I bashed the fuck out of my baby toes on my right foot. And I'm like,
Two of them.
two of them. I'm like 98% sure that one of them is broken, bare minimum fractured. Like
Yeah.
it's definitely not broken in half. Like I can walk on it, but it fucking hurts.
It's all bruised and it looks pretty Frankenstein-y right now.
Yeah, it's like all like it got bloody obviously from it. And so
both
there's like
got-
scabs everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's super mad and I proceeded to I iced it for a moment. You cleaned it. You put peroxide on it for me.
I did. You're welcome.
Thanks, and that hurt.
That hurt.
And
Didn't hurt me.
And the whole time Jamie Ann's like, this is the worst thing you can do. It hurts the good flesh. I don't know what she was yelling, but anyway.
Yeah, she was like, you're not supposed to put, it's going to kill all your healthy flesh. And I was like, but it'll clean it. And she's like, if you're going to peroxide it, you better peroxide it. I'm like, all right.
That is legit word for word the exact conversation. And the whole time I was like, it's fine.
You didn't even want to clean it.
I didn't. It
You
hurt.
were like, I'll clean it in the morning. And I was like, cool, when it's scabbed up.
Yeah, it hurt. I did not want to even think about my foot. I wanted to forget about it. And then we went to SeaWorld the following day and I proceeded to walk on it all day
sounds
long.
awful.
And I had to wear flip-flops because my feet do not go in shoes right now. Like it fucking hurts if I try to put shoes on.
Oh, no.
And so I had to wear flip-flops. And of course, my oldest son was like, let's sit in the soak zone for every fucking show. So I got shamu, piss water all over it. And then, so I don't have to go into work. I work from home. So it's been pretty good lately. And then today was like the coldest day in history. And I was freezing all fucking day. And it aches so bad right now. I've got socks on. I never wear socks. I've got socks on and I got a blanket. I'm just trying to keep it warm. I'm like an old person. Like, is that arthritis?
My toe can tell that it's about to rain.
Yeah. And I keep telling Liam, like, I don't know if I broke it. He's like, it's for sure at least fractured.
It's probably pretty fucked up. I mean, you smashed it and it has a good bruise on the knuckle. Like,
It hurts if I touch, like, where the toe attaches to my foot.
yeah.
Like, it does not, it's like a shocking, like, you don't like that. You don't like that. And then randomly it'll just be like, fuck you in particular and zap with pain.
Ugh.
But what are they going to do? They're not going to do anything. So,
Yeah, they would tape it to your other toes or something,
That's
which you
fine.
could do, or
Yeah.
you could just fucking deal.
yeah, I'm just dealing. Just dealing. Anyway, so that's my goddamn 100% sure. It just changed. I got 2% confidence in this conversation that my toe is now broken.
I think you fucked it up.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
good. Pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
You gonna tell me about some murder?
Duh. That's what we all came here for. Am I right?
Hell yeah.
All
Hell
right.
yeah. You've never been more right about anything in your life.
You better not forget it.
Okay.
Okay, so before I start the story, I wanted to preface this with the fact that I actually was inspired to choose this story because we recently got fucking tweeted at by
We got twatted.
by the HLN network people. Whoop, aka their Twitter person was like, "Hey, guess what? Do you guys want like super secret access to the first episode of season 2 of fucking Forensic Files?" And I
Hell.
was like,
Fucking yes.
I've never felt more included, special, unique in my life than in this very moment. And I feel like little things for the podcast like this keep happening. And I'm sure everybody who has a podcast got this. And I'm sure it's just a marketing technique. But I'm so excited because we got to watch like the first fucking episode of Forensic Files 2
Hell
before
yeah.
everybody else
Hell yeah.
because we're stupid and have a podcast.
Yeah, because we spend far too much time with our hobby talking about murder.
And I just feel like it's another little notch in the belt that we are fucking arriving people.
They were like, oh, you're an influencer. And we were like, I'm sorry, what? Okay.
Definitely not influencers, but that's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay. It was still super exciting. So
We
anyway, okay.
influence some people, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And we all fucking love Forensic Files. We all grew up watching the shit.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. Like,
yes.
it's our jam. Anyway, so they sent it to us, and I don't want to give everything away because I want you guys to go watch Forensic Files.
Obviously.
But quick little story. They tell you in the first 5 seconds, so I'm not giving anything away. But it's somebody who works on a farm, and they die on the farm, and it turned out to be by a bomb.
Holy shit.
Crazy. Go watch it. So I was like, obviously, I'm going to Google something that has to do with a bomb. Like, that's a crazy ass story. I want to do something about that.
Yeah.
You guys went down some crazy ass rabbit holes of shit. Like, people, nothing long enough that I could do a full story on.
Okay.
But people blowing themselves up in their car with their child in the back seat with a friend in the seat. Yeah, I was going to do this one. And then that's literally all they have on the case. So then I stopped. And also I was horrified at what you're gasping at. And then I found another one where it's just so unclear when people do it this way. Like somebody else like almost blew up by a bomb that they made, and they were like making bombs, like pipe bombs. And then they did. They
like
actually
they're going to be
killed
a
them.
terrorist, but they're not quite a terrorist
I
yet.
have no idea. And then it went down this terrorist hole, and I was like, I don't want to get all political. Like, not that I'm discounting it. It's just we have a special little niche audience here, and we're here to forget about that bullshit. So then I steered away from bombs, and then suddenly found myself in a farm hole. So the story I'm going to tell you takes place on a farm.
Oh, okay.
So it is loosely inspired by the episode of Forensic Files.
All right. I like it.
Just wanted to explain how I got here, guys.
Yeah.
And here we are. So today's episode, this week, on 181, episode 181 of I Say Goddamn,
Hell
I'm going
yeah.
to tell you about Amy Mullis.
Amy Mullis. Tell me about her.
Okay, so this is one of those stories where, like, I don't really have a lot of before times or anything. Like you like to say, I'm just jumping in.
Hell yeah.
In November of 2018, Amy Mullis was a 39-year-old wife and mother to 3 children living on a farm in Earlville, Iowa.
Earlville?
Earlville.
Earl.
Goodbye, Earl. We need a break. So, Earlville, Iowa.
Got it.
Amy and her husband, Todd Mullis, had been married for a number of years and both worked full-time on their hog farm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Previously, Amy worked as a nurse for a local hospital, but Todd had needed the extra help on the farm. So she ended up quitting her job as a nurse and turned to full-time work helping on the family farm to help the family farm stay like afloat, right?
Yeah.
On November 10th, Amy, Todd, and their 13-year-old son, Tristan, they were all working together on the farm while the 2 younger kids stayed inside the house and just kind of hung out.
Okay. Sounds right.
All 3 of them were working in a large hog barn that was about the size of a football field. So it's like huge. It's like a big open barn.
Yeah. God damn.
I'm kind of thinking of like when you go to Del Mar Fair or whatever and they have those little shows in there. Kind of like one of those.
Yeah.
Tristan, the son, was busy setting up portable heaters because they were expecting some piglets to be delivered to the farm.
Little baby piggies.
I know. I guess I never considered that they like deliver them as babies.
What, did you think they were eggs?
No, but I just assumed you started with like 2 hogs and then you were like, bone, like feed them some wheat. Like this shit is Minecraft or something. And little hearts appear and then they make piglets and then they make those piglets make piglets.
They were
But that just
literally
sounds
getting
like
a
inbred.
like a shipment of
Yeah,
piglets?
yeah, like they were coming in like, come on, deliver the piglets. Gotta set up the
Oh.
heaters. We're getting a shipment of piglets.
I thought you meant like
Delivery.
mama pigs were going to deliver baby pigs.
Okay, now listen, I don't want to sound super dumb because that's what I thought also was like they're going to be delivered.
Yeah.
But
Like-
I reread it.
Vaginally delivery.
I wish you would not refer to pig birth vaginally.
I mean, it is.
I know, it's weird.
Those
It's
pig
weird that
pussies are
pigs
going to
have-
pop out piglets.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. We talked about this earlier. I don't like when she uses the word pussy to refer to vaginas. It's like walking in on a movie with your parents and all of a sudden a sex scene pops up and you're just like, ooh,
This is awkward.
she used the word pussy.
I don't like it.
I like it if you say like, stop being such a pussy.
Yeah. Don't be such a pussy about it.
Anyway, now that we're wildly off topic here. So piglets were going to be born.
Born?
Well,
Delivered.
They... I don't know. Maybe they're actively being born and they're like, hey,
He's setting up heaters because they're about to get some piglets. Got
however
it.
they're getting here.
However they're getting here.
Now, I reread
by
the article.
passenger train or pussy.
No, yeah. I hope that's the title of the fucking episode. What people so misleading, It's not about either of those things. Oh, good God.
Okay.
All right, so Tristan's setting up some heaters.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't want the piglets to perish.
He does not want the piglets to perish after they exit the pussy.
Mm-hmm.
So Todd, the husband, is busy setting up some equipment that helps supply water to the pigs' pens.
Okay.
So he's busy doing that. And Amy was working on cleaning the lights of the barn. Now, the way that she would do this is she had a 5-gallon bucket. She'd flip it upside down. She'd stand on the 5-gallon bucket and clean the light bulbs off.
Okay.
They must be hanging low. I didn't know you had to clean light bulbs in a barn.
I didn't know that it was like, gotta clean the light bulbs. I figured that'd be like a yearly chore or
Maybe.
like just spray it down with a hose every once in a while.
Yeah, maybe this was her yearly chore. I don't know. Somebody who has a farm, why are you cleaning light bulbs?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a fire hazard. Maybe they're warming lights.
Oh, maybe.
And like, fuck, we got cobwebs. I don't want the piglets to catch on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but either which way, that is what she is doing.
Okay. On a 5-gallon bucket.
On a 5-gallon bucket.
Sounds sturdy.
So that's what I would do, honestly.
I mean, I would too, but it just doesn't sound very sturdy.
No, and also it sounds like the lights are pretty low, unless
Yeah.
she's like 8 feet tall.
She's probably not, though. Probably average size.
Very unlikely.
I'd say anywhere from like 5'2" to 6 foot. Probably.
You're probably onto something there.
It might be.
All right. Anyway, okay, so she's up on these 5-gallon buckets cleaning light bulbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tristan looks over at his mom and he starts to notice that she's acting kind of weird. Like, she was saying that she wasn't feeling well and she was feeling super dizzy. And so she'd have to kind of like brace herself to carefully get down off the bucket. Like,
Okay.
you shouldn't be working up high if you're not feeling so hot, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're dizzy.
Also, like, take a minute, go eat a fucking snack.
Yeah, what's going on here? And her legs were even trembling. Like, she was having like a huge dizzy spell.
Uh-oh.
Well, it turns out that 4 days prior to this day, Amy had had a medical procedure done, and it was like an outpatient medical procedure, so I don't know what that means. But this was the first time that she was back at work since the procedure.
Okay.
So obviously Tristan and Todd were like, yo, it looks like you're not quite ready to work. You definitely shouldn't be getting up on that 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah.
Like, let us clean the lights, and you should go inside and rest.
Yeah.
But Amy kept insisting, like, no, I can do it. It's fine. I'm fine. Whatever. So she gets back up on the bucket and she does her thing and she's cleaning. And then another dizzy spell hits. And this time it was like, okay, Todd was like, you got to get down. It's not safe. This isn't worth it.
Yeah. Just go sit down.
The lights will live another day. Yeah, go sit down. Go inside. Call it a day.
Yeah.
And the second time, Amy's like, you know what? I think you're onto something. You're right. This is kind of scary. I'm going to go inside.
Yeah.
So Todd was like, okay, before you go inside or on your way in, could you please stop at the red barn just like 30 feet away from the hog barn that they're in? Actually, it was a red shed. So a little red shed next to the hog barn. Can you stop in there and get one of these pet carriers out? Because I need it. Because I guess Todd was planning on working with some heavy equipment on the farm or something, and they had just had a litter of kittens.
Aww.
And so he didn't want to run them over or something. So he was going to use the pet carrier to get them all and store them in there while he did his thing on the farm and then let them out again.
Okay.
So he wanted to make sure that he was keeping them safe. So he was like, hey, on your way in, could you grab the pet carrier from the barn and just leave it at the front office? And because
They have an office at this barn?
yeah, it was like a whole fucking operation.
All right.
So like leave it at the front office on your way in and I'll deal with that. Like that'll help me. And she was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Got it. Okay.
Okay.
So now Tristan and Todd, they keep working for about another hour and a half in the barn. And then they head to the front office because they got other shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
When they get to the office, Todd noticed that the pet carrier wasn't there. And so he asked Tristan to go to the red shed to go grab the carrier. Now here it gets a little confusing for me because I don't know if Todd asked Tristan to get the carrier and just assumed that Amy had gone inside, like, oh shit, she forgot to get the carrier. Or if Todd told Tristan to go in the red shed and check on his mom.
Okay.
Because 1.5 hours is a long time to grab a pet carrier.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously something is wrong. So it's kind of weird if you're like, hey, go check on your mom an hour and a half later. from
Yeah,
the
I would
time.
assume that she would have gone inside or something.
Yeah, so I would assume that he's like, hey, can you just go grab the pet carrier?
Yeah.
But the way it's wording during the questioning of the article I read, Tristan says that his dad told him to go get the carrier himself. Like, oh, your mom didn't get it, go get the carrier.
Yeah.
But the person doing the questioning Tristan, was like, so your dad told you specifically to go to the red barn and check on your mom. So Tristan's like, okay, dad told me to go get the pet carrier. And then the person was like, so your dad told you specifically to go to the red barn to check on your mom or red shed to go check on your mom. And Tristan said yes. Like, I don't know if this is them putting words in Tristan's mouth.
Yeah.
And he's 13, so he's just like,
Like, yeah, I mean, I went over there. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's not understanding what's going on or what? Because that's how I read it.
Mm-hmm.
But later you're going to see that everybody's like, oh, it's so suspicious that he would say, go check on your mom an hour and a half later after she was getting this pet carrier. Okay?
Yeah.
Just keep that in your pocket.
Okay.
Because that's how it's kind of like phrased. But when I read it directly, it was more of like, it seemed like the person doing the questioning was putting words in Tristan's mouth. And he was just like, yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, I went and got the thing. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't know. He said to go over there, so I went over there.
Yeah. At any rate, Tristan goes out to the red shed. Either to get the pet carrier or to go check on his mom. We don't know which. So he goes out to the shed and he finds his mother face down in what appeared to be a kneeling position.
That's not good.
With a corn rake sticking out of her back.
What the fuck is a corn rake?
A corn rake? Oh, you ask. It kind of almost looks like a pitchfork. It's got like 4 tines and they're bent very aggressively forward. And they're kind of long. So think of like...
What the fuck?
Yeah. The tines are really long. Long enough that you could be impaled by them and they could kill you.
Oh my God.
Because Amy was not doing so hot with this corn rake in her back.
Was she alive?
Well, he runs to his mom and he checks her for a pulse and begins screaming for the dad, which 13 years old, I'm surprised that he knows how to check for a pulse. So he starts screaming for Todd and Todd runs over and he takes one look at Amy and is like, Tristan, go grab the truck. Like, we need to get your mom out of here. This is not good.
Holy fucking shit.
Right? So Tristan grabs the truck and pulls it around. And meanwhile, Todd is trying to get Amy out of this shed, but the entryway is kind of narrow and the corn rake is sticking out of her back and making it hard for him to pull her out. So he has to pull the corn rake out of her back. Yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Like, if you get stabbed, aren't you not supposed to pull it out?
Yeah.
Because that could cause more damage. But he...
Well, it like gushes the blood then.
Oh,
You're going to lose the blood.
Oh my God, exactly.
At this point, it's like a tampon. It's like a plug.
Holding it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what at what angle or anything, but either which way, he pulls the corn rake out of her back, pulls her out of the shed. By then, Tristan's there with the truck. He slides over to the passenger side. Todd puts Amy on top of Tristan, like,
holy shit.
she is out, right? Like, bleeding everywhere.
Oh, no.
And Tristan's, like, holding his mom, and Todd just starts driving to the hospital. Now, the whole time he's driving to the hospital, like, this all happens really fast, right?
Yeah.
He calls 911 to be like, fuck, man, like, something bad happened to my wife. She's not responsive.
We
I'm
are
scared.
on our way.
Exactly. And the dispatcher says, like, you need to pull over.
Why?
That's what I said. I'm like, dude, like, he is en route.
Yeah.
But the only thing I can think of is, like, if she's not responsive, she needs care now. And however long it takes you to get to where you're going is longer than how long it would take for, like, an emergency response person to get there to, like, start CPR or something.
Yeah.
So he pulls over, and the first person to arrive at the scene was a deputy, and he found Amy to be unresponsive, not breathing, and no pulse. So he started CPR on her. And while he's doing chest compressions on her, the deputy asked Todd, like, what the fuck happened, you know? And he explained that he wasn't sure, but that maybe she had gotten dizzy, like when she was pulling the pet carrier down, and fell onto the corn rake. Like if the corn rake was either laying on the ground or up against the wall or something, somehow she fell back and it impaled her.
Okay.
So obviously an ambulance gets there, picks her up, takes over, and takes her to the hospital.
Yeah.
Once she arrived at the hospital, this is the same hospital that she worked at as a nurse.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Her former coworkers start working on her to try to, like, bring her back and save her life, but they're not able to.
Oh,
and
no.
shortly after she arrived, she was pronounced dead.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
Oh my God. So sad. And also, who knew everyday items were so fucking dangerous?
Well, I mean, it's not really an everyday item.
A corn rake?
Not an everyday item for us.
I don't know
If they
why.
were like, I don't know, man, she tripped and fell on her mic and it impaled her. Like, that's an everyday item for us.
How unfortunate. I had a corn rake. I don't know why, growing up.
Your parents had a lot of weird
I
shit.
know, that's very true. I can't normalize that. I am not the benchmark for
no,
normal.
you are not.
Yeah.
You are not.
Yeah. Okay, so a medical director reviewed Amy's case and determined that Amy's death had been the result of a terrible accident, that she had fallen on the rake. It was theorized that while Amy was attempting to pull the pet carrier down, assuming it was up high, she somehow fell, hurt herself, landed on it, died, right?
And then, like, got up because she was like, oh, shit.
And then fell
and then
forward.
got into a kneeling position. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking maybe if you, like, flopped back and then you're like, ouch, and then, like,
That's what I'm
hunch
thinking.
over. Okay, yeah. However, there's an autopsy that gets performed. And they find that there are actually 6 puncture wounds when there's only 4 tines of the rake.
So she was hit twice.
So there's 2 of these random ass puncture wounds, right? They were actually at a different direction than the other 4, which would suggest exactly what you said, that the rake had entered her back more than once, at least twice. And the person performing the autopsy said that possibly even 3 times. Based on the directions of everything. The autopsy also revealed that Amy had a small scrape on the middle of her upper lip and blunt force trauma to her face, hands, and knees, possibly suggesting that a struggle had occurred. Now, I would think if you fell, you could also have those kind of injuries,
Scrapes,
right?
Bruises, yeah.
But they're saying like, okay, this is, evidence is starting to lead towards homicide and not an accident.
The extra puncture wounds are pretty telling in that sense.
Exactly.
Like, I could kind of explain away or like buy an explanation away from, the face bruises, a little cut on your lip, knee bruises. Like if you fall, you're going to fall on your knees and your hands, possibly your face if you're that dizzy. Like I could explain those away.
Yeah.
But the extra puncture wounds.
I know, but what if she fell and was like, ow, and then fell on it again and was like,
he fell on my knife. He fell on my knife 10 times. It's a little, if you fell on it.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, if you fell on it and you had just punctured yourself, you would probably roll off. You wouldn't stand right back up and then fall directly on it again.
If you're disoriented though and you don't know what happened,
you would still roll
I dropped a
off.
fucking log on my foot and just kept walking.
Yeah, but you didn't pick it up and then drop it again.
Coulda.
But you didn't.
But I coulda.
But you wouldn't.
But would I?
No, you wouldn't. You walked away from it like, fuck, that sucked.
I want nothing to do with that stupid log.
And then you lay it on the ground. Kind of like what she would have done, except she would have already been on the ground because she would have fallen on it. And then she would have rolled off like, fuck, that sucked. And then tried to get away. She wouldn't just stand up and be like, was right here, just like this. Bam, do it again.
Very true. I actually agree. I agree that it looks like a fucking murder.
It's suspicious.
It's suspicious. But also, I don't know, strange things happen, right? Okay, so the police are like, we're pretty sure we got a homicide on our hands. We need to start an investigation. This is not just an accidental death. It would be irresponsible if we just continued on saying that it was an accidental death.
Yeah.
Police investigators immediately secured the red shed off because now it's a crime scene, right? Mm-hmm. And they processed the scene and they noticed that there's really not that much blood or anything that would indicate that a struggle or a deadly beating had happened.
Okay.
The officer who walked through the scene noticed that there were a few drops of blood on the floor where Amy had been found. Mm-hmm. But usually in a beating or something like this, you would see blood splatters like on
they
the
pulled it
equipment.
out and then they put it back in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
On the equipment, on the walls or something. But in this case, there was none.
Yeah.
I should also note that this investigation was done with the naked eye. The police officer just walked through and was like, I don't see any blood.
Okay.
I don't know if they ever brought in the fucking luminol or whatever, but
Very official.
yeah, very official. With the naked eye, you couldn't see anything.
Okay.
Which, I mean, if she died there and there was only a few drops of blood, that would make me think that, maybe you're going to have, microscopic blood splatter, small amounts of blood splatter.
Yeah. Also, when it's flinging, doesn't it get more, small?
Breaks up little droplets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how I feel about this investigation being done, but
Seems a little amateur hour.
yeah, but from what I can tell, it wasn't like a bloodbath in there. It wasn't super obvious, right?
Yeah.
Now, immediately, the sheriff's department was like, we don't get a ton of murders in this town, so we don't have much experience in this area. Amy's murder was only the 4th murder that they had in the last 10 years. So they really, especially something scandalous,
Yeah.
So
damn.
they decided to call in Iowa's Division of Criminal Investigation to help because, quite frankly, the crime scene doesn't really support murder and they're not pros in this area.
Yeah.
So that's good on them, right?
Yeah. They're like, let's bring in the big guns.
Exactly. So, of course, they first turn their attention to Todd because it's always the fucking husband, right?
Mm-hmm. Was Todd with Tristan the whole time?
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to get into this.
Okay.
As they started to look at Amy and Todd's marriage, it quickly became evident that love and marriage... Why did I write this? I hate myself.
Love and marriage. What'd you write?
I wrote, it quickly became evident that love and marriage does not go together like horse and carriage.
You were in some kind of mood.
Because they discovered that 5 years prior to Amy's death, Amy had cheated on Todd.
It's 5 years ago.
Ba, 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 ba.
That hatchet has been buried. It's been 5 years. They have clearly decided to fucking move on.
I know. Okay, so listen. During the time that Amy had cheated, she was working as a nurse at the hospital and started to have an affair with another man, and Todd found out. Despite
If he didn't kill her then,
Okay, hear me out now. So despite this affair having a major impact on the couple's marriage,
obviously.
Amy and Todd decided to stay together and make things work out. One of the agreements was that Amy had
Could
to...
no longer cheat.
Yeah, okay, but you have to be faithful this time. Well, one of the agreements was that Amy was to quit her job as a nurse and to come work on the farm full time, where Todd could always keep an eye on her.
That's pretty
Like, he didn't like
controlling.
her going... Exactly. So, not healthy, in my
But
opinion,
at the same time, you've been out the house once and you fucked around
to find out.
and then you found out. So, like, now you get your phone privileges taken away. You know what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying.
if Brandon goes to pool all the time or whatever, goes to play pool, and then he cheated on me with someone that he met at pool, I'd be like, guess who's not going to fucking pool anymore? Like, that's not that far-fetched to think of, especially if you could
far-fetched.
use her help at the farm.
Okay, so...
Like, you don't need this other job. You could work here for the same fucking benefit to our family without...
Super
other-
unpopular opinion, I'm sure I'm about to hit you with. As I typically have in these scenarios.
Mine might be the unpopular
Because
opinion.
quite frankly, my brain's just like, fuck it.
I think I'm pretty toxic in that, no, stay inside. You don't need to go outside anymore. Don't even fucking look at him.
Well, here's the thing. Okay,
Don't look at anyone else.
One. Okay, I feel like everything I'm going to say is stupid because it's obvious, right? Like, if you have to be in a relationship where you have to tell me what I can and cannot do, it's not a good relationship. Like,
Well,
even
obviously.
if you cheated, even if I was the one to cheat or whatever, if you are telling me I can no longer go to pool, ain't going to work for me. Even if I'm in the wrong, just like, no, like, that's not going to work. You have to have trust.
Yeah, but you broke the trust.
Well, yeah, but if you're choosing to be with me, you're choosing to trust me again. And I have to prove it. And if I
Oh,
break it again, then it's
yeah.
all over. See,
We would not do well in a
See,
relationship.
it wouldn't work.
We would
work.
not do well in a relationship. I
Would
am
not
the
work.
opposite there.
That's
so.
why it would probably end at the first cheat. I'd just be like, well, if you're not going to be okay with me going to do shit, then
100%. I would have ended it at the first cheat anyway. I wouldn't be like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
see if it happens again. It'd
Yeah.
be like, nah, fuck you, though.
yeah. But they had 3 kids and an entire farm.
Listen, if you can just keep an eye on her at the farm, save
Yeah.
the marriage. See, my toxic trait is that I'd be like, you have to work on the farm.
And I have to watch you all the time. Okay, here's the second
And you're
thing I
not
was
allowed
gonna
to
say.
talk to anyone else.
So here's the second thing I was going to say, though, was it's a little different, though, because it's her job.
Yeah, but
It's
if
her
you...
job.
I get that it's your job, and...
I don't even know if she cheated on the job. Like, that seems pretty controlling. Like, you can no longer work your dream job, this thing that you went to school for.
Okay. I was kind of assuming it was like a coworker, you know?
I don't know.
But that's where my brain went, was like
Yeah.
it was someone that she met while out on the town doing her job work stuff, right?
Just like fucking hooking up in the
she didn't meet him
med
at the hog
closet.
farm, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not where your hot flings start.
It's not where they start. It wasn't at the front office.
Okay, so Todd is like super jealous and suspicious of everything that Amy does now, right?
Yeah.
And he kept tabs on her and he would gate who she was allowed to hang out with and for how long and at what times.
Okay, that's too much.
Yeah. Getting a little intense.
You're losing me.
Okay, Todd.
Okay.
You had me for a second.
Bring it back. Reel it in.
Amy would confide in her best friends, like her close friends. And in case you didn't know what best friends meant, I don't know why I correct.
It's like the closest ones.
It's like how like you and I are.
Oh.
You know? Yeah. Like those ones.
Beast? I didn't say that.
You mean best fiends?
We are not sponsored.
No, we're not sponsored. Anyway, so she would confide in her friends and say that she felt like a prisoner in her own marriage.
Oh, goddamn.
It was clear that Amy was afraid of her own husband, and she even told a close friend that if she was to ever go missing, that it was definitely at Todd's hands, and to go have the police look for her body where they kept the timber or where their new timber was or something like that.
Okay, you had me fucking sympathizing
With a psycho.
with a psychopath.
Or is he a psycho?
Well, I mean, she obviously thinks that he is if she's afraid of him.
Yeah, like there's some red flags, okay?
I don't like that.
So it's very evident that Amy is not happy in her marriage and that Todd is super controlling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out in July of 2018, so the same year that Amy died, Todd learned that Amy had been communicating with a man by the name of Jerry Frazier on a regular basis.
Okay. Is this an affair kind of communication?
So he
or
finds,
like, y'all got any piglets for sale?
well, he finds that Amy and Jerry had exchanged something like 128 texts between the two of them.
Okay.
And Todd decided to confront Jerry about this, right?
Does he know Jerry?
He does know Jerry. So Jerry's a common acquaintance. Like, they both know who Jerry is.
Okay.
So Jerry's like, Todd, there's nothing to worry about. It's totally platonic. We're only talking about the kids' activities and, like, hog farm shit. Like, we're just talking
the
shop.
usual.
We're just talking shop. And Todd even went as far as to call Jerry's wife to question her about whether or not she thought they were having an affair.
Okay, Todd.
Right? And Jerry's wife was like, Jerry's a great man. He would never cheat. Like, I'm not worried about it. Todd, you need to calm down. I know Amy's done this in the past, but that's not what's happening here.
Yeah.
So this helped, like, ease Todd's mind. Like, all right, she's not cheating. I need to fucking chill out, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, in the investigation, police discovered that Amy and Jerry were having an affair.
Those bitches.
What? Okay, so this
Poor
provides...
Jerry's wife. She was like, well, I fucking vouched for you.
I know. I feel so bad for Jerry's wife.
Yeah. Also, Amy.
Right?
Come on, man.
I mean, she sounds like she was a little bit in like a mini hell.
Still, get
Yeah.
out of your relationship then.
Yeah.
If you're afraid of this person, don't fucking double cross them. Just
Oh my
leave.
God. Oh, how scary.
Yeah.
So this provides a motive for Todd to kill Amy, right? Like, if she's having an affair, he finds out.
Yeah.
Now there's a motive, right?
Yeah.
And for the record, I just said Todd didn't know. According to what he tells police, Todd didn't know.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So the police are like, oh, you know, kind of looks like your marriage was failing. We're getting all these accounts of Amy's friends saying that, like, if anything happens to her, it was you. Like, we're going to want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring in Todd and Tristan, the 13-year-old, for questioning. And they basically asked Tristan, like, did your dad ever leave your eyesight that day? Like, when you guys were working together, tell me what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And Tristan confirmed that it would have been impossible for his dad to have killed his mom because the entire time that she was, like, in the red shed, his dad never left his eyesight. So he had a fucking airtight alibi. Like, Tristan was like, no, we were working, like, the whole time. There's no way he could have been anywhere else. He was next to me working the whole time.
Man.
So with Tristan's account of the day, Todd has that airtight alibi, and the police start to question if there was anyone else with access to the farm that day.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that there was someone.
Mm-hmm.
Amy's side piece, Jerry, actually worked on the farm as a manager.
The fuck?
Bum, bum, bum. That's where they met, was on the farm. They would have to, like, work together all the time, and then they'd be alone in the office. Ding, ding, ding. Things would happen.
Oh my God. Man.
Yeah. Crazy, right? So Jerry had a good motive for Amy's death as well, right? Like,
He doesn't want his wife to find out.
Exactly. I guess, as it turns out, Amy had been telling her close friends that she was basically in love with Jerry and that she could see herself marrying him in the future.
Okay, Amy, why don't you end one relationship first?
But the problem is that Jerry didn't want the same things. Like, everything, he had a family.
Yeah, he's got his life
kids.
already.
Yeah,
he's
he's got a wife. And Amy's threatening his family life if she wants to have a real
relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the police are like, hey, Jerry, come with us.
Mm-hmm.
So they talk to Jerry. It turns out that their affair had started back in May of 2018, and they would meet up about once a week or so, and they would either meet somewhere on the farm or on some back roads or even rent a motel, and they would
Ew.
hook up. Yeah, so this is, like, extensive. Once Todd discovered the phone records, Jerry started to get nervous that their affair would be revealed. And so he wanted to call everything off and stop fooling around because he was like, okay, hold up. This is getting too real. I don't want my wife and kids to find out, you know,
We
Todd's
almost
onto
got
us.
caught back there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For Jerry, it was purely a sexual relationship, like some way to get his rocks off, whatever. But obviously for Amy, it was more emotional and also probably sexual and everything like that. She wanted a life with Jerry, and Jerry was like, hey, this is just kind of fun.
Yeah.
So either way, Jerry and Amy keep seeing each other, and word got around town that Amy was having another affair on Todd, like against
Got
Todd.
around town?
He got around town. Like the rumor was that Amy was having an affair. And so Amy heard this rumor and she told her friend, like, shit, man, I have to tell Todd, like, I have to put the fire out before anything happens. And I'm just going to tell him, like, I've heard this rumor, just so you know, it's not true. It's going around, whatever, right?
Amy.
Yeah. And her friend was even like, dude, like, Todd will kill you if that's what's going on. And then the police officers were like, why would you say that? And the friend's like, because Todd's a guy you don't want to cross. Like, Todd would kill her. Like, that's a legitimate statement. I'm not kidding. Like, that's not good.
Oh, geez.
So, sounds like Todd's a little bit of a firecracker. So, here we have Amy about to be like, I'm going to go tell Todd that there's this rumor going around or whatever and try to nip it in the bud. Jerry's probably hearing the rumors too. And so now Jerry kind of has a little bit of a motive here to have Amy gone because he doesn't want this threatening his home life, right?
It's a bold reason to commit murder, though.
Agreed.
I don't want this to ruin my home life, so I'm just gonna
Get rid of her.
Yeah, but like there's so much more to it than that, you know? Like there's the act of murder and then there's the whole like probable PTSD from murdering someone.
Like the mental issues from it.
Yeah. I feel like that would also ruin your family.
Exactly. So I totally fucking agree.
My dad's a murderer.
Not a great idea.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I said, Jerry has kind of the same motive, like about as equal parts motive as Todd at this point, according to the police. However, Jerry also has an airtight alibi because he was 45 minutes away with his son all day. And his son was like, Dad was around the whole time. So they both have tight ass alibis according to their sons. The police checked Jerry's cell phone records and it showed that his phone was where he claimed to have been the whole time. But again, like the police are like, well, in this day and age, everybody knows don't bring your fucking phone to a good old murdering. So it could have been that he left his phone there. It doesn't say that Jerry wasn't there. It just says his phone wasn't at the crime scene.
Okay. Did he make any phone calls from said phone?
I don't think so.
That anybody can corroborate?
I don't really know. But he does have like really detailed accounts about his day and his whereabouts. So police are like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't Jerry. Todd looks a little more suspicious than Jerry.
Yeah.
So they turn their attention back to Todd.
I mean, honestly, especially with a 13-year-old, like, was Dad with you the whole time? And you're like, yeah, he was there the whole time. And you're like, but like the whole time?
Yeah. Just like the red barn thing, you know, or the red shed thing. Like,
yeah.
So he told you specifically to go get your mom in the red shed. And he's like, yeah. You know, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know this poor Tristan, dude. Like, I feel so bad for him. He found his mom dead. And now he's like, the one thing hinges on
dad.
Him. Yeah. I wonder if he even knew, like,
at the time.
Probably had no idea. It was just like, I'm answering the questions.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. And it's not like
the implication of it all.
Yeah, he's not really realizing how like detrimental this information is.
Ugh, yeah. And then it's like, no, but really what happened? You know? Okay. So like I said, Amy's friends say that like, okay, she wanted a divorce from Todd, right?
Yeah.
And we have a little bit of a motive for Todd to want Amy dead because if he knows that Amy wants a divorce, then he loses half the farm and probably has to end up paying her alimony, right? But if she's dead, he probably gets a sweet payout from life insurance.
Yeah.
So it's in his best interest if they don't divorce.
Yeah. Well, and he gets to keep the whole farm and everything.
Yeah. But at this point, Amy's hit a turning point in her life where she's like, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to try to make it work. Like, I want to be gone. Whereas before it was like, yeah, I'll do everything to keep the family together or whatever. I'll come work on the hog farm. But now she's like, life isn't worth it. I don't want to do this. I went away. And Todd's like, oh, shit. You can't just leave.
Oh,
because then I'm going to lose all my money.
Yeah.
Also,
stronger motive.
Also, Amy's friends told police that Todd was the type of man that you didn't cross. I kind of mentioned this earlier. And they were worried that he was somehow involved. Like, Todd's pretty suspicious. You know, we have a lot of questionable things going on here. Investigators fixated on the fact that Todd had sent Tristan in the red shed to go check on his mom. Like I was saying, like, why did he think an hour and a half later that the mom would still be there? But this seems kind of flaky for me because of what I read. Like I said before, like, that's not that strong. But I guess for them, that was pretty fucking suspicious. And also, when Todd was being interrogated and the police basically told Todd, like, hey, we know you killed her. You know, like, we're on to you, which they didn't at the time. They're just like doing their interrogation tactics or whatever. And when they did that, Todd basically responded with like, how? Like, how do you know? Like, he wasn't like, no, I didn't do it. What are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. He was just like, how? How do you know that I killed her? Like, kind of like, meh, 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 whatever.
I don't know, man. People handle grief differently.
I
Especially
agree.
like you being told that you shouldn't do something. You're immediately like, I'm a fucking do it.
Exactly. I totally agree.
I could see someone being kind of like contrary, like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
Like, okay,
yeah.
how? How did I do it?
I
like,
could
when?
too. I could too. This whole case, I'm like, dude, I don't fucking know. Like, it's kind of suspicious. Anyway, okay. So the argument is that his reaction is not normal and it makes him look suspicious.
What is normal?
I don't know. But also, homeboy totally denied killing her. He wasn't like, I don't know, figure it out. He was like, no, I didn't kill her. I didn't fucking kill her. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. And also, how do we know how long after the investigation or interrogation did he say that? Like, if they said it like 8 times and then finally they say it again, he's like, okay, how? How did I kill her? Like, what are you talking about?
How many times had he been asked that question that day? Like,
Yeah. So investigators argue that his reaction wasn't enough to be convincing that he did not kill her. Instead, he reacted more of like a, who, me? It couldn't have been me.
then who?
Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? Okay, so police are like, guess what? We think we have enough evidence to take Todd into trial for murder of Amy.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's basically all circumstantial.
Okay.
And so prior to the trial, they re-interview Tristan because Tristan's, like we were saying, his account is his
He's the
fucking
key.
saving grace.
Yeah.
And when they do that, Tristan admits that there were times throughout that time that Amy would have possibly been murdered that Todd wasn't in his eyesight. Where Todd and Tristan said, like, I ran outside of the shed or outside of the barn or something and I got a drink of water, but it was less than a minute. But there were times that I did not see my dad. This was enough for the prosecution to pounce because now Todd's, airtight alibi has fucking holes all through it. And like we said, it's so sad for Tristan because he's probably just thinking he's trying to do the right thing. Like, I just want to tell this, like, I don't know what's happening. Like,
Well, and also now your mom is dead, so the only family that you have is your dad, and you really don't want them to go to prison, even if they just like murdered your mom.
Right,
I mean, maybe
like, I
you
want my
do, but you're
dad.
also 13, so you're like, I don't fucking know, man. Like,
yeah.
you don't know what you're supposed to say or do
Right?
at that time. Like,
Also-
that sucks.
I know. And also, Tristan and his dad were really close. Like, they did everything together. So
Yeah.
that's probably his, like, best friend, dude. But
Man, that's rough.
I know, it's so sad. But the counter argument is that, like, 1 minute's not enough time to kill anybody. Todd didn't have blood all over him like he bludgeoned someone. And his demeanor had never changed according to Tristan. Like, he was just working. He never
Yeah.
came in, like, all worked up or anything like that.
He didn't come back all out of breath.
Yeah, with, like, blisters on his hands or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so the physical evidence is pretty lame in this case, but police discover that there are some security cameras on the farm. And one of the
Okay.
cameras was pointed directly at the red shed. Yep. So they pull the footage, but wouldn't you know it, there's a gap in the footage on the day that Amy dies.
Get the fuck out of
I
here.
will not get the fuck out of here. Actually, there's like a 2-week gap prior to her death. But the odd thing is that the day after her death, the recordings start again. So suddenly the camera works. And when the investigators questioned Todd about this, he explains that they keep the antennas for the cameras on a window ledge and that when it gets cold, the cats that they have jump up on the window ledge to sit in the sun to get warm. And so they must have knocked the antennas off, disabling the cameras. And a family member, after Amy had died, was like, yo, don't you have cameras? Like, go look at the cameras. And so when Todd went to go check them out, that's when he realized that the cameras had been turned off. And he set the antennas up again and started recording. And so that explains why he started recording the day after her death again. He
Okay.
had no idea they were down.
It's those damn cats.
Now, I am thinking, okay, listen, individually, each one of these explanations I could see making sense.
Yeah.
But this is turning out to be a series of unfortunate events aligning to the T. Like,
Very,
suspicious.
yeah, suspicious. Very, like, I guess, fortunate for you.
Right? Like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
Okay? So I think he kind of killed her. I think he kind of killed her. So police found searches were made on the family iPad. And the searches read, quote, what happens to cheaters in history? End quote. Right? I was like, what a weird fucking thing to search.
Like, what are you going to do? Death by 1,000 cuts? Are you going
don't
to
know.
stone her to death in
I
the
don't
village?
know.
Like,
I have no idea.
in history.
A scarlet letter.
Yeah.
Another search was, quote, thrill of the kill, end quote.
Is that a movie?
I don't know. And
Sounds like a
then
movie.
The last one, quote, killing unfaithful women, end quote.
Okay, that's pretty fucking on the nose.
Okay, what the fuck? Yeah, like, it's not like Amy's going to be Googling those, right?
Yeah.
Maybe her 13-year-old son is. I don't know if they've got fucking parental locks on that shit. It
That's-
was fucking Todd.
Yeah, that's some weird fetishy stuff for a child to be searching for.
Yeah, but I was weird at 13.
Yeah, but it wouldn't also coincidentally line up with some shit that your mom and dad, and then your mom goes
Yeah.
and
Dead.
gets murdered. Like,
Yeah.
it's...
Goes off and gets murdered. Jeez, Amy.
Yeah.
Also, every time I'm like, please never look at my search history, especially after I was just trying to find a case about bombs. Like, I'm for sure on a list for the like homicide by bombs, murder by bombs. I'm on a list now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
homemade explosives.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, dude, home makes a bomb.
Yeah, blew his fingers off. Oh my God, I know. And then I didn't realize it till I picked a different case and I'm like, oh my God, I'm for sure. They're going to look at everything now. So if I'm ever taken in, will you please explain? Will you vouch for me? Be
Yeah,
my witness?
I'll explain. And I'll be like, here is
guess, yeah.
exhibit 181.
The case she covered.
Yeah.
All right. So not looking so great for Todd, right?
Yeah.
But again, anyone could have searched that, I guess. So the trial starts, and during the trial, Todd actually took the stand for 3 hours.
Jesus.
Oh, and he denies that he did anything to harm Amy in any way.
Obviously.
The trial took a week, and the jury took 7 hours to deliberate, and they returned a guilty verdict for the crime of murder in the first degree.
All right. Got him.
Right? Members of the jury were later interviewed, and they were basically like, there was just too many points against Todd. Like, why did he pull the rake out of her back? Why didn't he call 911 right away? Why were the cameras down? Why was there that search history? Like, they felt like it was too much to be a coincidence.
It is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's pretty good explained away. Like,
Not the search history. There's really,
yeah.
what, did Jerry break into your home
And search that.
on your iPad, on your personal iPad? Like, come on.
Yeah. They also said that Todd really wasn't a likable guy on the stand. Like, he was too cold and matter of fact.
That's what, see, murderers are never supposed to take the stand.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, they're always like, because you're not going to react.
Appropriately, no matter what you do. You
Yeah,
can't win.
appropriately
You just
for
cannot win.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. The judge ended up sentencing Todd to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Okay.
And Amy's 3 children now live with her family. And it's really sad because their fucking mother is dead and now their dad is in prison for life.
That is heartbreaking.
I know. And obviously Todd's going to appeal and all that shit.
Of course. This is
But-
just in 2018? Mm-hmm. Damn.
Dude, it's so trippy to me because, like, I could see both sides. Like, I see if you took, aside from the search history, but again, in my mind, I feel like search history is such a flimsy thing because my search history is so fucked. And I know I'm not doing nefarious things.
Yeah, but also you have an explanation for yours.
What
There
if?
is not an explanation for that.
What if Amy was going to start a podcast all about cheating wives? What about
Well, I
that?
feel like one of her friends would know.
Ooh, fair point. Yeah, no, I agree. But it's just interesting because in one of the, like, you know, we talk about being a jury
Juror.
member, on a jury. Like, do you think that there is enough evidence for you to convict this person of murder or to death or something like
I don't
that?
know about to death, but maybe for life, and then they could have the chance to appeal, like
If they have enough.
if more physical evidence was brought about later or something, you know? Like,
Yeah, I want to know what they saw, like what they got. Like, did they ever pull luminol off in the shed and they were like, yeah, clearly it splattered or anything? Like, I don't think so. It wasn't in the...
what if she legitimately just fell on the fucking...
What if she had some, like, was taking some medicine from this outpatient procedure, got dizzy, fell, landed on the rake. Maybe she bounced on it, hit it twice somehow, like staggered back and hit it and was like, fuck, and then staggered again and actually landed on it.
Yeah.
And then all of the choices after that were just very fucking unfortunate, you know? Like,
yeah.
but again, I still feel like that's way too wild.
That is very coincidental.
Yeah.
That everything lines up in, like, just a perfect way.
But even the cameras, I'm like, oh, fuck. But then the cameras, if that's not the case, that's fucking premeditated like crazy.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't accidentally shut off by the cats, like he's saying,
did Jerry have access to these antennas?
I'm sure. Like if they were like in the office or something.
Yeah. Like what windowsill were they in, you know?
Yeah,
Was
I
it
don't
like
really know. Evidently there were cats around the windowsill.
Yeah, so I guess he could jump up there so Jerry could be like, pop, from the outside. Like knock it in.
Yeah. Side note, I really want to be at this farm. There's like pigs, there's cats, there's babies being born everywhere.
They're delivered.
I don't want to get murdered though.
Yeah, that sounds pretty shitty.
That part
I
sucks.
don't really want to go to a hog farm. Sounds sad to me.
You're right. I hate the zoo.
What a weird transition.
Okay, anyway, so if you guys want to check out pictures pertaining to this case, go to isgdpodcast.com. I'm sure Critty will pull up the bloody corn rake for you to see. Also, you can join our Patreon while you're there. For as little as $1, you get an extra episode every month. If you want to join our mid-tier at $7, you get all the backstage audio. Is that what we're calling it? Behind the scenes audio.
There you go.
For every fucking episode, not edited, you get all this shit. Fucking inappropriate jokes and all. And then for $10, you get the video too. Unedited video of every fucking episode, guys. So much extra content on our Patreon. So go check that shit out. Also, buy some of our merch. Support your favorite fucking podcast.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. We're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at ISGD Podcast. Go tell your friends. Tell your friends. Go subscribe, rate, and review us. And you can email us at isgdpodcast@gmail.com, or you can snail mail us at...
P.O. Box 2764, Spring Valley, California, 91979.
And that's all she wrote, motherfuckers.
That's all, folks.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Bye.
Bye.